Hello and welcome. I hope you're doing as well as can be in these strange times we're living in. This is a follow-up to a video I did about getting the most out of Zoom lessons, at least in terms of sound quality. If you haven't seen that video, you should check it out because there's some really good gems in there about getting the best possible audio quality in your Zoom lessons. Whether you are a student or a teacher, these settings are important. Today, I want to share with you some of the tips that I found really effective in remote lessons. And I'm still learning just like everyone out there, but I do feel like I've made some progress and have some things I'd like to share. And on the note of sharing, I think we should all try to chime in the comments below. What's working for you? What are you still curious about? What are some of your pain points? I would love to know about it, and see if we can spitball some ideas and maybe come up with some creative solutions. But anyway, let's get right into the first tip. So since we're talking about lessons on a screen, the first thing we got to talk about is video quality. So it's got to start at the source, right? So that being the case, we look at the camera you're currently using, and a lot of you are using the camera that's built into your computer. You would think with the amount of money we're spending on these things that we would just have incredible, exceptional cameras, but most of the time that's not the case. Even when it says HD, it's not great all the time. And the reason for that is it doesn't pick up a whole lot of light. So to up your game on the video department, the first thing you want to do is adjust your lighting so that you've got some lights behind the camera. It'd be great if you had even lighting on both sides. And if you actually have a photography light or a light ring, those are very cheap on Amazon, by the way, or wherever you shop, it would be great if you could angle them so it's not hitting you directly in the face. I've certainly failed at this stuff more times than I care to admit, but it looks pretty harsh if you come directly at yourself. So you might want to just angle them about 45 degrees, and if your lights are on a dimmer, all the better. You can kind of dial in exactly what works. And if you don't have photography lighting, not to worry. You can still do this pretty effectively, actually, with just your regular lighting in your house. Just by grabbing a lamp, moving it over behind that camera, you're going to do a lot better. I mean, check this out. Is this thing even on? Pretty remarkable difference when you have the lighting dialed in. So other ways you can level up. If you are done with the camera in your computer, you're tired of it, you're not liking the way it looks, you can order a webcam. Plenty of options out there. I would recommend a company called Logitech. They make great products, pretty reasonably priced, and you can get really good clarity with those. Did you know that you can actually use your phone as a webcam? There's an app I've experimented with called Epoch Cam. Oh, wait up. So naturally, right as I was putting the finishing touches on this video, I've come to find out there's an even better option for using your smartphone as a webcam, and that's from a company called Irion. You can search them on the App Store, or you can go to their website on a PC. I will put a link for that in the description below. But the reason I bring this to your attention is it seems to be a lot more stable than the other one that I was using. It's going to save you the headaches, the constant plugging and unplugging and checking for bugs and all that stuff. So in any case, check this one out. It's going to turn your phone into an HD webcam. And the other thing I want to mention is the importance of going into Zoom and changing the setting under video. You want to look for Enable HD Video. Make sure that's checked. Another option is that many camera companies are now allowing you to use your DSLRs and your mirrorless cameras as a webcam, which is great, such a help, and that's about the ultimate clarity that you can get. So check that out. I know Sony for sure, Canon for sure. Other companies, I haven't done my full research yet, but I'm sure there's some creative solutions out there. There's also something called a capture card, which you can get, which will take your HDMI out from your camera and turn it into something usable for your computer. And then you can dial in and change that through Skype or Zoom or whatever platform you're using. Now, on the subject of video, if you're getting into some crazy productions and you want to have multiple cameras and switch back and forth a lot between them, I'm talking more than just two, there's something called Ecamm, and that works really cool for creating more of a studio-like experience where, the production's moving fast and you're showing different angles, maybe showing your hands as a piano teacher or a guitar player. Anyway, highly recommend. Check it out if you're having a complex setup. For those that want to keep it simple and just stick to the platform, maybe Zoom, You can do multiple camera setups just fine there. You can plug in a webcam, or maybe you want to do your fine camera that you have there, your Sony, your Canon, whatever it is. So that can be your main webcam. You can use another cheapo as a close-up, maybe on your fingers, or you're doing some drumming, something like that, or you just want to change it up. You can do that very simply with a key command in Zoom, or just by selecting Share Different Camera Source. And you can actually even plug in your smartphone or a tablet, and you can share the screen on that as well, which you could turn into another camera, or simply go into an app. Maybe it's a notation app for the music students, or just making some notes, highlighting some pages for your students. Works really well. My next tip is to change it up, and change it up often. What do I mean by that? Well, attention spans are shorter than ever. No, but seriously, attention spans are lower than ever, I think, in this day and age, because we have so many devices and games and programs that are sort of catered to the reward center of the brain, and we get addicted to that stuff. Heck, I get it. Let me check my phone. Anyway, point being, you got to change up either the camera angle, the lighting, the content. Many ways to do this. You can share your screen. Zoom even has a feature where you can use a whiteboard. You can share the whiteboard. I like to share different programs. As a music teacher, I'm jumping back and forth between an app called Chordy, which allows me to show the keys in a visual representation, the keys on a piano, and then they can do notes and chords and the chord names and inversions. Really great graphical representation. I'll go into a program like Logic. We'll talk about recording and engineering techniques, things like that, going back up to my regular cam, over to a cam that's on my instrument itself or guitar, fretboard. Just trying to keep people engaged, because I know that attention is a precious commodity, and it's a fight. For my next tip, I got to get real. There are a lot of ways we can embarrass ourselves via a remote lesson, not the least of which is notifications or conversations popping up on your screen that may be inappropriate. For that, there is an app called Muzzle, if you can believe it. This will automatically prevent all those things from interrupting your call. So if you're on Skype or Zoom or FaceTime, it will automatically get those out of the way, and you can sleep soundly at night knowing that you won't be embarrassed. Did I mention how important it is to change things up? Don't underestimate this tip. So there is a pressure on teachers that I've certainly felt over the years, and it's that as a teacher, we are the ones that need to be talking and sharing ideas and sharing our knowledge. And while that certainly is the case for a lot of the time, I think it is so important to ask questions. Ask questions, get feedback, encourage that interactive quality. People love to throw out their ideas. When you ask for somebody's idea, they feel heard, they feel respected and at your level. So it's really important. And also to kind of test that the knowledge is getting in there. Ask a lot of questions every chance you get, and leave them with questions too. Don't just give them answers. Give them questions that they can think about and really rack their brain and try to come up with some creative solutions for. My next tip may seem like an obvious one, but bear with me. Prepare as much as you can in advance. And I don't mean by a lesson plan that's going to be a broad thing for your whole student roster. Try to get as individual as you can. I know there are so many hours in the day, but do your best to come up with an individual plan catered to that specific student. It's only going to make it more worthwhile for the both of you. And ways that we can do that as music teachers is to prepare backing tracks or tablature for the guitar players, standard notation for your piano players or other instruments, and try to come up with a way where you can collaborate or share works back and forth, whether you're using a recording software like Logic Pro or Pro Tools or Luna or whatever it happens to be. Man, life is so much better when you're having an interactive, collaborative relationship with someone. And as teachers, I feel like that's how we can really serve the student better. I really hope you guys are getting some value out of this. And if you are, and you're excited to try some of these things, let me know which ones you're going to be using in the comments below. Or if I'm forgetting something, by all means, let me know what's working for you. Just a couple more ideas I want to throw out. Number one is the get out of this scenario, which is kind of role playing, if you will. In a music context, this could look like, okay, you're in a producer's studio working on a multi-million-dollar project and they want you to play something scary for 4 bars right now. And you have to rack your brain and think of your training and all those modes and scales and chords that you can use to create that situation. And it might create some pressure. It might create some really fun results, or you might just fall on your face and fail. And there's nothing wrong with that. So it's through those moments that we kind of trip and fall, get back up, and learn a little bit more, grow a little bit more. And on this subject, I think it's really important as teachers to find out what's at the core a little bit. And by that, I mean, what does it mean to you as we're learning concept, theory, and modes and scales and chords and sounds as music enthusiasts? What does it mean? What does it conjure up? What does it make you think of? Does a feeling come to mind? Does a scene come to mind? What does it look like? I think that stuff is really important to encourage a lot of creativity and imagination. Hope this helps. I'm looking forward to hearing what you guys are doing in your lessons. And as students, what have you found effective? Keep that conversation rolling below. I'm looking forward to seeing you all next week for another video. Let me know what you want to see in the future, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.